50 goals in all competitions, 34 in the Premier League alone. That equals the record set by Andy Cole and Alan Shearer, who did it over a 42-game season. Manchester City have played 32, so they've got 6 left to go. Erling Haaland played in 30 of those, and he's already on 34 goals. He's averaging over a goal a game. Not even the greats can say that.
I know. It's Messi, Ronaldo kind of form, isn't it? It's scoring more goals in games you're actually playing. But like, we're talking about somebody who, when he was coming here from the Bundesliga, people were saying, the Bundesliga, we'll see what he does when he comes here because the Bundesliga is not as tough as here. He's actually he's making more of a mockery here with the caliber of player he's got with him and the goals he's scoring and how easy it seems for him. What I'm pleased about for him is that he's somebody that came with a big reputation of scoring goals and he's actually delivered on it. And can't take away the fact he's playing in arguably one of the best sides we've seen for many, many years. But he has like ticked every box in respects of the expectations. Yeah. It's really exciting. I'm just pleased we've got him here in this league.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. I think of the 34 goals, 29 are first-time finish. So this is the kind of striker that he is, and he's in the right team for that. But the way he's improved his game all around, holding the ball up, for example, as we saw against Arsenal, being a target man in a way, plus the pace and everything, it's just incredible. I think he's got 8 penalties so far in 50 goals, 7 in the league and 1 in the Champions League. If he scores, he can finish with 50 goals without any penalties, which only Suarez and Messi have done in the history of the games, which would take him another record. So really amazing work.
I just wish they could play Arsenal 6 more times. then he would beat all the records.
But it was the penalty in this one that was an early goal for Manchester City, the perfect start for them on the weekend in which they could go above Arsenal in the table. And at that point you thought, well, that's it. City are just going to be rampant in this. Fulham put up a really spirited fight back in that one. They got themselves level. And then that fantastic goal from Alvarez to give them the victory in that one. But they've hit their groove, City. And there's no other real way to describe it.
You know, we were talking off that penalty. It reminded me of when Ruud van Nistelrooy had a penalty. I used to put it down, and I knew it was going low to my right all the time. You put it down, take a step back, and that was the same. Like left-footed, a lot of time left-footed penalty takers take it to the goalkeeper's left. Yeah. He kind of looked like he knew, but he hit it that hard,
well,
and that confidently and that well. He couldn't save it.
It's like when you look at Haaland and how good he is, and the fact that Pep, how great Pep is tactically, and how good his teams are, the way their formations are, but they've changed something to suit him. Like you said, rightly, Julian, his link-up play is much better, and if you give him time, nobody in front of him to maybe, just in case the touch is wrong, you can nick it off of him. Like he's going to do like what he done against Arsenal. But like, they've changed their game to suit him, and it's only going to get better. We still see City playing great stuff, but now they can go, boom, straight up to him, and it's devastating. It's devastating.
And that's what's taken them to the top of the table, and potentially on the way to a treble.
Yeah, but you look at it and you think to yourself, right now, of course, look at Real Madrid. Real Madrid, if anybody can put a spanner in the works, it's that club. That club is. I'm not even sure if they even bothered about the Liga anymore. It's about the Champions League with them, so that's going to be tough for them. But the way that Pep has like prepped his team and prepped his team, and the way he's got this team playing like they are now with an elite goal scorer, you have to fancy them to do it. It's going to be tough, but at the same time, you know, they have got to the exact juncture where they need to be at the right time. And what Arsenal needed to do, Kels, was in those 3 games where Arsenal drew, those are the games that you need to win, or you need to get at least 7 points out of those. And I think that Arsenal, in the way they played, probably could have. Because what City are hoping is that somewhere along the line, Arsenal slip up, because they're not going to slip up. And then what they're doing now, they're just continuing to do what they do, and just going to try and finish it off, and it's going to be tough to stop them now.
Yeah, Arsenal fans are where Liverpool fans have been quite a lot of time in the recent years, in the sense that you've got City against you.
Is he still smiling while I'm looking at you this time?
He always smiles. That's the good thing about Wright. They're incredible. They're the best team of the last 6 years at the last 10 games of a Premier League season for a reason. They've got that mindset where they're just relentless all the time, and they've got that winning mentality.
Every game that they play, even if they draw or lose, they should have won.
Yeah.
That's I always get that. I always get that feeling. The post, a goalkeeper or something, they always should have won.
There's always a moment, like I was saying to you, Kels, in the game, like we saw against Fulham. Fulham done very, very well, but then you saw Alvarez's goal, and that's what they're capable of doing, a World Cup winner coming up with the goods. But every game when you watch City, there's always a period, and like most teams, that they creak. Like you have to recognise the period and you have to break it. Even Arsenal, we had a period in the first 5 minutes where we broke on them, but we didn't get enough people in the box. Saka crossed it, there's no one there. That is your moment. It's small margins. You don't get many windows, but when City do creak and you don't, and it clamps back up, bam, it's over. And like Brad, you rightly said, every game they play, they should win it. And it's only because a team may do something like a Fulham or something that stops them, or a Brentford. But other than that, they are so tough to stop.
And the difference with Bundesliga and Holland, it's a little bit more tactical in the Bundesliga. Over here, like the fans, the supporters, all the teams, they want to score.
Yeah.
Teams try to score. It's a great league for Holland. I mean, playing with Man City as well. Yeah. But every team wants to try to go score. Yeah, so he's going to get more chances.
There's still a few debates earlier in the season about is it the right player for this team? Players, we're not going to say who, but some people, really. I mean...
Crazy talk. At the time, I think he had something like 28 goals or something when they really was ramping up this conversation about, is he right for them?
Are they better without him? Some people ask. I was like, come on, please.
Yeah, they're definitely up on the goals so far this season.
Sure.
And Erling Haaland is breaking all kinds of records with more remaining that are very much in his sights. And that's what's taken Manchester City to the top of the table. Arsenal can go back top of the league if they beat Chelsea. This is what Mikel Arteta said ahead of the game.
You have to recognize that there's still work to do, and don't get confused, and be very humble, recognize what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are to be better. Now it's not in our hands, and what is in our hands is to win our games. That's what we're going to try to do, and the rest is down to City.
I mean, those games that you talked about when City were playing in other competitions and weren't playing in the league, they were the opportunity for Arsenal to really turn the screw. This one now, as much as they were games that Arsenal wanted to win, this game they have to win.
Yeah, it's a must-win game, yeah. And to be honest, I don't think any Arsenal fan was under any illusion that all the games are probably must-win games the way City are. I think, what's that, 9 on the spin now, 9 wins for City. They've got into their stride. Yes, this is a must-win game, but I think all of them have been like that. And, again, it's the kind of pressure that Arsenal have to get used to. Because if, qualifying for the Champions League now, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have to go into games where you have to win the games. So this is the kind of experience they can take from this. But like Mikel rightly said there, it's in City's hands and they know how to. So all you can do is win your games. And I will not concede until obviously it's mathematically impossible. But you're looking at a Manchester City side that are in the driving seat. So you'd be foolish to think that, they're going to throw it away now, especially the fact that the treble is realistic. It's a realistic target for them.
Yeah, that game at Newcastle looking difficult for Arsenal as well. But immediately, it's the one against Chelsea. And although Chelsea haven't been anywhere near where people would have expected them to be this season, Arsenal come into this off the back of the heavy defeat by Manchester City. And then before that, 3 draws in games that they were in. Well, Southampton, they came back into it, but they would have expected to win it. And then the other 2 games, they were in a really good position to win the games. Trying to reverse that, trying to kind of turn that momentum around could potentially be their trickiest problem.
Yeah, you're right. 4 games without a win hasn't happened before this season. This is a testing moment for Arteta to see how the squad responds to him, how the fans respond to him. If he changes something, maybe, whether it's the starting 11, tweak the formation somehow, somewhere, I don't know. We will see on Tuesday night. But it's a huge test. Not so much they will finish first or second. No, they can't be caught by Newcastle or United. But just to stay in, it's very important. They have to believe that they can still win it, that Fulham could have got maybe a point against City on Sunday. They have to believe, and it's still an amazing season. Let's not forget, people who said that they've bottled it, it's bad, this is terrible. It's not. They were 5th last season. They're going to finish 2nd or 1st, whatever. It's still an amazing progression to where they were before. And if they build on this, they're going to get stronger and stronger in the next season.
It's natural, I think, as well, Brad, for people to. We were only expecting to get in the Champions League. That's what the goal was.
The aim, yeah.
So, like Mikel said in one of his, we've achieved that goal, but because we've been flying so close to the sun, which is Man City. You know, unfortunately, and we deserve to be up there. They're just, and the way they played as well, they're just a fantastic team that we've got to continue to try and chase down.
But two things is this isn't a jab at Chelsea because we all know their problems right now. They're probably playing one of the best fixtures they could play because Chelsea are low on confidence. So I think it's normally, and I've played against some incredible Chelsea teams. Normally that wouldn't be a good team to see having to play. I don't think that's a terrible thing right now. The second thing, and Mikel Arteta has done a great job. He really has. I know my alliances with the other team in North London, but nobody can deny that. And I don't think anyone, myself, probably yourself, thought that they would go on win the league this year.
Absolutely not.
You know, so it's a shame that it's probably, if they don't win, it's going to look like a little bit of a failure at the end. It's not a failure, and he's still building, and they play some incredible attacking passing football.
This is why as well, Brad, I was saying at every juncture when we're doing well, coming back in those games, you know, Villa, Bournemouth, all those kind of games, you know that's not sustainable to try and continue to win games in that way, but enjoy the moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully they'll be able to make some signings that we can continue to be excited about what's coming. But, you know, it's been a very good season. It's been an excellent season.
You don't think you can question how they've reacted to being under the pressure of the final stages of a championship?
I think you probably have to, Kel, simply because of the Liverpool, West Ham, and Southampton games. You probably have to question something because something's gone wrong, and you have to say as well, when you look at the players, like someone like Saliba is a massive miss. It's a massive drop off. I think it's very unfortunate what's happening to Rob Holding because a lot of people have been making mistakes at Arsenal in the last few games, but for some reason, simply because Rob Holding's come in to maybe fill the gap of Saliba, which is very tough, he's getting a lot of stick, which is unfair because I think that Arsenal and certain players have dropped in their standards, and that's made mistakes. But for some reason, they're blaming Rob Holding. When you get a player like Saliba, who I'm just praying that we can keep him for as long as we can, and you get that drop-off, that is going to hurt you. That's going to hurt you. That's hurt us. And that is why, when you look at the way we played, the way that's hurt our dynamics of playing out of the back, it's really stopped our flow. You know, that's one of the reasons, as well as the fact that mentally, to a certain extent here, the pressure you feel, I wouldn't say the pressure's got to them, but when you're winning in those games, especially the Liverpool and the West Ham game, you know, it's, you know, you think to yourself, right, we've got to learn to manage this stage. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to get to that place now, Kels, where, okay, how do we manage this? And so it's like, you see, like you say with Tottenham didn't change anything even when they were 3-0 down. How do we stay in the moment and then just say, right, we'll just pick them off now? Those are the things we're probably going to learn. So
yeah, it's a learning process.
Yeah,
actually.
I think that's what we've got to learn.
It's the youngest team in the league, so they're going to make a mistake.
Yeah, and you can question it, no doubt. But while they're still building, I thought they did a wonderful job keeping Arteta in a job that would have fired, let him build, and they are building right now. So as long as they learn from it and then carry on. So let's say they win the league next year or the year after, then yes, they made the mistake, they learned from it, and they kicked on.
And as much as Arsenal are learning for this involvement in a title race for this young group of players, there's plenty of pressure at the bottom of the table as well. And two of those teams...
So first time since mid-February, they're top, City, and with a game in hand, and they know how to win. Not auguring well for Arsenal, is it?
No, it's not. I always stood by. I thought April was going to be difficult for Arsenal with, Newcastle away to come. But you look at, a win on the road today for Man City, then they can look forward to 2 home games. And you would have thought that'll be 6 points from West Ham and Leeds. Then you go into the Champions League game.
The only thing I could see from an Arsenal perspective where they can kind of get a little bit from it is City have got a lot of games. They've got almost double the amount of games. However, City are the type of team that can go on and win every single one of those. So, they would be
and the squad to deal with it, as they've shown.
Exactly.
But his in-game tactics today, Mark,
they were amazing,
I joked about 4-4-2, which he did start with. But the start of the second half, he went with 3 at the back, put John Stones in midfield alongside Rodri, which freed up then Gundogan. In the last 5-10 minutes of the game, he went back to a 4-4-2, started to hit channel balls, asked Foden to try and drive it in the corner and waste some time. It was one of them where he probably wouldn't enjoy the performance because he's a stickler for the performance, but he'll enjoy the win, and that's the most important thing.
We all know that titles are won on that more than beating Arsenal 4-1 comfortably when you're in control.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think if you ask a Man City fan's perception at the end of the season and you say, what was the game that won you the league? They'll say Arsenal. And they'll forget about the 2-1 grind and win against Fulham.